Hi guys, and welcome back to Creative Pet Keeping. My name is Kasia. I am your host, and I've got an interesting koi to show you that is currently trying to find food. And as you can see, this looks really weird. There's pellets on the bottom, but why is this fish pecking at nothing? That is because this is a blind albino, and this fry has survived in here. Actually in the fry tank. He survived this whole time. He's been finding food. So there's kind of hope that he can probably survive in a special tank. I am currently treating him with meds for anti-fungus in case there's a fungus growing on his eyes or anything. So that's why his water is a blue tint and he is in a jar. Well, he or she is in a jar right now because I want to be able to feed and monitor this fish. This is one of the fish I bred, and of course when you breed fish you have to temporarily jar them so they don't fight, so you can separate them for those of you that are new to this channel. But this is so interesting. Another thing is, this is an albino. If you look at the eyes are actually red on the inside, so very, very interesting fish. Right now on the quest for food. He already found one pellet earlier. He's kind of feeling around for them, so I do have hope that, you know, possibly this guy might be able to make it, maybe. We'll see. I don't know. This is one of those fish, the types of fish that, you know, you have to make that decision. Will this fish be able to survive? And can you rehome it? Or does this have to be a cull? I've never had a blind fish before. I'm going to observe this fish for the next couple of days and we'll see how it's going. If he or she does eat well, or at least figure things out, and can continue to survive, then maybe this fish will be able to go to a special home. But a very, very interesting fish, and I will definitely keep you updated on what will happen. So, now let's unbox the microworm and banana worm culture. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Man, this is packed real nice. So first, okay, this is packed really nice. Packing skills level expert. So first we have what I believe to, double lids. What I believe to be probably the banana worm culture.
Pretty close.
Huh? Oh. And it's double bagged. It's labeled. I'll open these in a sec and figure out what's what. And then we have more things. We have some of the things needed for these guys. So we've got the oatmeal as well. One heaping cup of old-fashioned oats and labeled. So we're gonna start placing them right here. And then there's more. Oh, it's for Mookie for his urinary problems. Thank you. He will appreciate this because he has all the issues, all the health issues in the world. And then there's just more of these. Oh, there's more. There's more. Hold on. There is more. And this is 2 parts yeast, 1 part worm formula. So I'm assuming this is the yumminess that gets them started. Banana, of course, is very curious. And then we've got a lot of the soft wrapping. Thank you so much. And now I must get these guys started. So here are the cultures a little while in the future. I wanted to first set them up and kind of practice taking care of them before I show them to you, because after my experience with completely failing at taking care of Daphnia, I figured, you know, we'll see if I can keep these worm cultures alive, and they are alive and well. I have been feeding them to my guppy fry as well as my Maltese have gotten some as well. My baby bettas, well, they're juvenile bettas now. They aren't too interested in these guys, but when I breed in the future, these worms will be super awesome. And this is very clever, but Amber from Big City Bettas on YouTube, who sent these over to me, she got these lids that you use, I think, for, was it reptiles or insects or something? It's a special lid that the worms can breathe through, but no bugs can get in there, and this fits on a normal deli cup, so that's pretty cool. And excuse the dirtiness, I have not kept these cups very clean over here, but let's get a little close up. These are the worms. You can kind of see them wiggling over here. And what they do is they feed on yeast and the worm food that feeds on the rolled oats, the old-fashioned oats and banana formula, like mixture, that Amber does have a tutorial explaining how to do this on her YouTube channel. Her YouTube channel is small right now, so you guys should go over there and give it some love and subscribe, especially because she is an experienced betta breeder. So if you're into breeding or would like to follow yet another person who breeds bettas so you can learn and then follow some of those adventures, you definitely should check that out. But then afterwards, these worms kind of like to climb on the side of the container, and that's how you collect them. I'm going to show you right here. They've been kind of going up a lot over here because I just had them on the by the window. They really get excited if you put them in direct sunlight. They will really kind of wiggle quite high, and this makes them very easy to collect to feed to your fish. Now, on the other hand, the banana worms kind of don't climb as high. Let's see if I can focus. They stay pretty low. That's so far how high they have gone for me. There is more in there inside wiggling about. So there's more worms than just on the edges. But this is very interesting. I've never had microworm cultures. The reason why I have these dates on here, because roughly every month or so you're supposed to make a new batch of substrate, scoop up the layer of the worms at the top and change it out so they can have clean food to and substrate to live on. If you leave it too long, this will crash and will die. So that is kind of what's happening here. This formula kind of turned out better for me. It's more even. This one came out a little too dry, which is why I have some rolled O's at the top that are uneven. The way I figured out how to fix that is every other day I have to spray this twice with a water bottle to kind of moisten it up, and usually that gets the worms excited and gets them climbing onto the walls. I also once a week sprinkle some of the worm food and yeast on top of here. And then to collect the worms, I can either use my finger or I prefer to use a cotton swab. I just wipe the side and then dip it in the tank and swish it around, and then the worms are just wiggle around in the water, and these small fish will eat them. So this is really cool, and I was very excited to share this with you. If you want to get into betta breeding, this is definitely something you should look into. How you can acquire these worms is, I would say, try to find a local betta club. For example, like the International Betta Congress, and ask some members, see if someone has a culture. They might be able to send you something. Maybe you can buy something. Another option is also fish conventions and shows. I know that at the Greater Cichlid Association swap, they had one vendor that was selling different cultures, and actually that's where I got my vinegar eels from, which is another type of are they worm? A little microorganism that you can feed fry that are very, very young. And actually, microworms you can feed to fry that are a day or two old, versus with this stuff you have to feed the fry when they're a few days old. They're a little bit bigger, and you can kind of added alongside baby brine shrimp, so I think it's a little better to have a variety of foods. With just feeding baby brine shrimp, you do have a higher risk of the fish getting swim bladder issues, so I think adding this kind of food, which will be a lot easier for the bettas to pass, would be a good alternative to prevent issues in the future. So I hope that you like this video. I hope that you check out Amber's channel, subscribe, and give her some love. And if you have better questions, be sure to let her know. She's super helpful. And thank you for sending these cultures to me. I think they're really awesome, and I'm glad to be expanding my arsenal, preparing for future betta breeding.